Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I invite you to warmly welcome the participants of the 27th edition of the MBA in International Business Program. Dear MBA27, distinguished guests, MIB faculty and staff, and extended MIB community, including those who are following our ceremony on live streaming. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the graduation ceremony of the 27th edition of the MBA in International Business Program. Today is a day of celebration and recognition that comes through hard work, perseverance, and dedication. Dear participants, I believe that today is an occasion that you will never forget. It is an important day also for your families and friends, as this achievement would have never been possible without their support and their encouragement. Ho il piacere di porgere un caloroso benvenuto, anche in italiano, alle famiglie e amici dei nostri diplomati, che li hanno sostenuti e incoraggiati durante quest'anno e che oggi sono qui per festeggiare assieme a loro questo importante traguardo. Un especial saludo de bienvenida a las familias y amigos de nuestros diplomados que han venido desde muy lejos para compartir este importante momento con ellos y acompañarlos en este día de fiesta. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce our Dean, Professor Vladimir Nanut, who will now give his speech.
Good afternoon to everybody. Distinguished guests, faculty colleagues, families, friends, and of course, members of the graduating class, it's also my great pleasure to welcome you all to this ceremony. I would like to give my warmest welcome to Alberto Minali, CEO of Cattolica Assicurazioni. And I would like to express to him the gratitude of the entire MIB community for accepting to honor us with his presence and speech during this graduation. We gather today to celebrate a moment of value in the life of our MBA candidates. The celebration of Graduation Day is indeed always an exciting moment of transition for students, families, as well for our school. Dear graduates, first of all, congratulations on completing the long and challenging pathway that has led you to this graduation. I want to congratulate also parents, families and friends who supported, sustained and strengthened you. I would like also thank the faculty members who have taught and mentored you and the members of the MIB team who have worked hard to make your time among us comfortable and fruitful. As to our school, MIB is continuing not only to improve its international reputation, but also to increase its educational offer. As you know, the school boosts the full accreditation by the Association of MBAs for both MBA in International Business and the Executive MBA. AMBA is the most important international accreditation body for MBAs. Only 2% of the business school worldwide enjoy this prestigious accreditation. We strongly believe that the only way that can lead to advance, to always ensure the highest quality standards to our students is to be accredited by an independent agency. The national and international accreditation that we have asked for AMBA, IPAS, are the most valuable acknowledgement of our efforts. So, it is not surprising that in 2017, MIB programs has been confirmed among the best worldwide by Edu Universal Ranking, which evaluates more than 12,000 programs. Going through the training programs in addition to delivering the consolidated MBAs and master degrees, the school is becoming a reference point for executive education excellence both in Italy and in the surrounding countries. In the last year, the school has reinforced its position in the corporate and custom education area. We have designed and developed many new and successful projects, short programs and corporate master for leading companies such as Bosch, Danieli, Illy Generali, Allianz, Fincantieri, Knauf, Citibank, Varsila, among others. And we have trained more than 1,000 managers. MIB is becoming the graduate school for choice for many leading companies operating at international level. Moreover, considering the number of programs we are running in this field, MIB is today recognized by companies, authorities and associations as one of the most advanced international centers for training and research in insurance, finance and risk management. Confirming the international recognitions, innovating the training offer and strengthening the links with the corporate world. These are some of the goals that MIB has set itself to grow and offer direct benefit both to students and businesses. But as all the moment of transition, this ceremony is also an occasion to think through the past and to consider the future that lies before you. I'm convinced that your future will be bright, as you are now equipped with one of the great degrees in education, the MIB Master in Business Administration, the flagship program of our school. As graduates of MIB Trieste School of Management, you are now called to become the leaders capable to drive, influence, honest. Work hard for the community goals. Tomorrow, when you will make business relations with people from different cultures, you will feel yourself citizens of the world. This is because we believe that a cross-cultural environment, like the one you have enjoyed here at our school, is the best ground to develop leaders capable to interconnect the world and create prosperity beyond the frontiers. Dear graduates, from today on, as ambassadors in the world, you have to uphold the name and the prestige of MIB Trieste School of Management. Be proud of the degree you have deserved here. We will follow your professional closely, and we will be always by your side. Moreover, we need you. Your advice and your support will help us to expand our activities, to develop new projects, and to bring the members of our network closer together. Watching you from afar will make us sad, but excited. Come back and see us. When you do, and when you will do, bring your stories with you. We are always happy to know about your success in your professional, and not only in your professional life. In any case, we will be always happy to welcome you in the Ferdinandeo Palace, the common home of the alumni of MIB Trieste School of Management. So in the conclusion, my very best wishes to all of you, and ad maiora. Thank you.
Now I invite Professor Andrea Traconia, the Academic Director of the MBA in International Business Program, to take the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear MBA graduates, it's a great pleasure and a deep honor for me as the academic director of the program to give a speech in front of you today. Today we are celebrating the completion of the 27th edition of this program, which holds a very special place within the school, as Professor Nanut has recalled. It's the very first program of MIB, and it's the one that has laid the foundations of the school itself. It is the most emblematic of our programs. The one which fully represents our goals and ambitions as a school and as a pool of faculty. And it's also a program that represents the standard we have set for all the following programs that the school has launched over the last years. We can proudly say today that this edition has been a great success in many respects. And I would like to track a balance about what we did during these very demanding last 12 months. You started in last September 2016, and you have been involved in 12 months of intense work, where you did a lot of everything. In particular, more than 700 classroom hours spread over 120 days of core courses, concentrations, electives, and project activities. In total, you have attended more than 20 different courses, and you have taken almost 50 exams and formal evaluations, dozens of feedbacks and orientation sessions. You have completed 2 demanding on-the-field projects, working along with company managers and entrepreneurs. And some of you have also participated to exchange programs in China, in the US, in France, in Spain. And on top of this, we shall also count a number of corporate visits and meetings with top managers for a total combined workload of more than 1,500 hours. So a lot of work. During the last weeks, we should not forget this, you have worked hard to complete your thesis, which you have discussed in the last days in front of a commission of faculty members. Further, some of you have also been involved in job internships and working positions in different countries and locations. So, of course, it was not easy for you to manage such an intensive agenda and to always keep your motivation high enough. Your commitment, your dedication to this MBA has been unbelievable. You made miracles to combine study, work, and also your personal life. If your investment in time, energy, commitment has been impressive, so have been the outcomes which we have measured at the academic and at the leadership level. On both dimensions, you have fully accomplished your mission. Of course, the quality of the outcomes are always a function of the inputs, and you are the inputs of this program, the participants. And we must congratulate ourselves as the school for having been able to recruit and select such an outstanding group of young talents, picked one by one from a broad pool of candidates from all over the world. Your diverse academic background and your professional experiences and seniority have offered unique opportunities for enrichment and have represented the key success factors of this MBA. Along the journey, your dedication has been fundamental in turning 20 individuals, as you were, into a strong and integrated group. Over the months, you have learned about the other classmates, and you have got to know each other much better. And you have soon become true friends, enjoying several moments in MIB's life. Proof of this cohesion and group spirit is the evening you have spent yesterday evening together with part of our MBA staff after the demanding thesis discussions. A few words on the qualification you are receiving today. MBA degrees, as Professor Nanuta has recalled to us, have become an established standard and a winning format in the postgraduate management education, which is highly recognized both by the academia and the corporate world. This MBA in international business, while holding, of course, such important features and the most important accreditations, also differentiates itself from the other MBAs for a unique combination of content, subject areas, and methodologies, which combined are representing an innovative teaching and learning formula. A formula that favors a strong connection between knowledge acquisition and knowledge application. Proof of this is, for example, the number of on-the-field projects that you have been involved into. But there are several distinctive features of this MBA. First, its emphasis on the development of international management capabilities and skills. Its cross-functional, interdisciplinary vision of business, integrated with soft skills. And its leverage on the school's key areas of expertise: insurance, risk management, finance, and also innovation and entrepreneurship. At the conclusion of this long program, it is now just the right time to give a few thanks to the people who have mostly contributed to this MBA's success. The Dean has underlined the importance of those who supported you from the outside throughout this year and who are with you today, in person or in spirit, your family members and your dear friends. But other people have worked from the inside of the school and had a major role in this MBA. I start this list with Victoria Pletz, the program manager, who has been the main bridge between you, the participants, and the school, taking care day by day of all the didactic and organizational issues of the program. I also thank Tim Baxter, the associate director. He's not physically present today, but he will be somehow involved in the ceremony later, who since the beginning of the MBA has helped you become a team and showing you the way to exploit your leadership potential and express in full your talents. I also thank Fabia Radetti and Barbara Vidotto, the career orientation team, for having worked hard to favor your encounter with the corporate world through job interviews and corporate meetings. I also thank Barbara Sepic, the admission officer, for having selected such an outstanding pool of participants. I also thank Stefano Pilotto for having organized several social activities. And for having exploited every little available moment in their agendas for this. Many thanks also to the entire school staff and academic core, visiting and adjunct faculty for having enthusiastically contributed to the activities. And last but not least, I thank the several guest speakers, managers and professionals and their companies who have complemented the MBA academic activities with the flavor of business practice, greatly enriching your learning experience. Graduation days are always special events in the school's life, moments that are always full of emotions, expectations, relief. Of course, this graduation is not an exception, as it represents a discontinuity, a transition moment from 12 months you have passed studying and dedicating a lot in learning to another part of your life that is career, work. And open to you are now many opportunities to pursue your career and develop your leadership potential. We at MIB can safely bet on you, on your talents and on your future success, because we have assessed you and your value over more than 1 year. And from now onwards, we will be your best supporters, because your success is our success. Of course, we are looking forward to having soon new opportunities to meet you at the school or at the many events that the Alumni Association will organize. Remember, you are now officially a member of the Alumni Association. Do not forget that you are at the center of a broad community of students, lecturers, firms, practitioners. And our hope is that you can actively participate to the life of this little but very rich world, and take advantage from this. So, dear graduates of this 27th edition of the MBA in International Business, my best wishes to all of you, and good luck.
Dear MBA27, our next speaker is not physically present here today, but he could certainly not be absent at your graduation ceremony. Thanks to the help of our IT colleagues, thank you Igor and Giuseppe, we managed to bring him here all the way from Bari to join us in your celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the MBA Associate Director, Professor Tim Baxter.
Vicky, can you hear me?
Can you hear us? Yeah, okay.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that I cannot be with you in person. The good news is, however, that I am doing this short speech. Oh, I can see them as well. Thank you. You look fantastic. Hi, guys. I'm doing this short speech in boxer shorts. So as soon as I finished, I'm back on the terrace and getting some sunshine. Anyway, let's go straight ahead. It's story time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you a story. Last night, I told you a story of passion. Today's a different story. It's a story of adventure. It's a story that's been told 1,000,000 times, but always slightly different. It's a recurring pattern. So, let's begin. And here I hope the technology works. 1 second. Let me come out of this again. 1 second. People can still see you. Okay. Oh, let's go back. Okay. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a roller coaster ride into the unknown that I'm going to take you to. Actually, it is linked to something which is academic, and I will try and make links to what you heard from Professor Nanut and also Professor Fracogna as well. It's called The Hero's Journey, and it comes from something called work by Joseph Campbell. And he realized that throughout the history of the world, religion, legends, fairy tales, it was the same story being told again and again. And I would like to tell you this story, ladies and gentlemen, using our brave friends as examples. So, it begins in the ordinary world, and the ordinary world is a world where everything seems, well, just ordinary. You get into a loop and just carry on without thinking. Let me give you an example. Let's take a hero. There you go. There's a hero, Massi. And Massimiliano had spent years just in the ordinary world, the bubble of his ordinary world, just having an ordinary time. It was normality. It was mindlessness. It was routine. It was every day. He was very happy about that until one day something happened. Something happened to make him question this ordinary world. And maybe the first time he ignored it. And the second time he said, no, come on, what's going on here? And what he was finding was that something was telling him that there was something else outside this bubble of the ordinary world. And this is called the call to adventure, ladies and gentlemen. And in that moment, Massi realized that he was just simply part of a bigger routine. He had a chance to make a difference. Because out of nowhere, he received a message, wake up, Max, follow the white rabbit. And in that moment, ladies and gentlemen, in that moment, he realized there was a way out from the ordinary world. And in doing that, he had to make a choice. It was a difficult choice to make. And this choice is part of the 3rd chapter of Campbell, which is crossing into a new world. Basically, it was, do I continue in the comfort zone? Do I continue doing what I've always done? Or do I embrace change? Is it the blue or the red pill, Massi? Now, I'm telling everyone the story of Masi, but actually in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, today, dressed in their beautiful togas, are a number of heroes. And each one of those heroes have something in common because they took the red pill. And when they took the red pill, they moved from the ordinary world into the special world. And the special world, ladies and gentlemen, is where you are sitting right now. Apart from Ug, who's sitting a little bit further away, but hopefully watching us on streaming. And as soon as they went into the special world, things changed. You see, our heroes that you see today have come from very far away to be with us today. They're heroes from all over the world, which I think, as Professor Traconia and also Professor Nanut said, is one of the strengths of the MBA that you've just finished, ladies and gentlemen, and also, of course, the business school itself. Here they are, right at the beginning of their adventure, how happy they are. Oh, your slide should be coming up now. How happy they are. They're happy, they're ignorantly blissful. However, I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that change is not simply putting on a nice suit and coming to MIB School of Management, because in front of them were a number of tests, a number of challenges, and not all of them were easy. So, I have to say that once you enter the special world, you have to be aware that it's important to keep calm and expect the unexpected. This first set of challenges we're going to call the ordeal. And the ordeal is where we find our heroes are having to, what can I say, overcome a number of things that they never thought could be true. I give you a number of things coming up here of examples of the tasks they had on the very first couple of days. And ordeals that not even we had planned. Poor Lucy there. Not easy to do, ladies and gentlemen. However, the most important thing is that each one of these heroes knew that they needed some resources in order to overcome those ordeals. Again, I go back to the idea of Matrix. And what the Oracle says, you didn't come here to make a choice to MIB. You already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. You see, our heroes thought they were coming for external change. But if you want to change things externally, well, you've got to change internally as well. That means they have to be informed. They have to be up to date. They have to be up with the latest. It means they have to be fit and have to make sure that their fitness levels allow them to overcome all problems that they might find themselves. It means that they have to be able to have big dreams and big thoughts. And here I'm going to just speak a little bit about Ug, who is not there, but watching from South Africa, I hope. And something that I think everyone can relate to. Think big, think huge, think Ug. Ug, ladies and gentlemen, is so huge that Trieste City Council were forced to make a very own, what can I say, causeway and pavement way so he would be able to walk the streets of Trieste. When we asked Ug what he would like to have from his classmates to help him go forward, Ug said, a Series 7 BMW. That's big, ladies and gentlemen. Also, you have to be able to never give up. Never give up means, for example, this young lady, as you see in front of you now, who, when she first came to MIB, as you can see, was unable to sit on a chair. We sent her for 4 months of hard retraining in China. And I'm happy to say she's in front of you right now, ladies and gentlemen, sitting perfectly. So congratulations. Can I have a round of applause for Ginny being able to... Well done. Not giving up means being able to make the impossible possible. For example, this gentleman here, who was unable to walk in a straight line, unassisted, without young people helping him. It was a difficult task, ladies and gentlemen. He tried and failed. He tried and failed. He tried and failed. But over time, he managed to get to his goal. And at the end of the goal, he managed the impossible. Well done, Mario. Another thing that our heroes need are to understand that relationships change. And this is a difficult thing to accept. You see, Francesco has been, not for 1 year, but for 2 years, part of our MBA, MBA26 and MBA27. As you can see in the photo, Francesco was able to create strong bonds with MBA26. And suddenly, when he left MBA26 to start his journey with MBA27, the initial reaction was very strong from MBA26. Here is a note that Francesco found on his desk when he came in one day. I put the translation up on the top there. Traitor, you're evil. We know where you live. You're a dead man. MBA26. It's tough rearranging relationships. However, as Andrea Trecconi said, over time, people were able to forge new relationships, change the state of their old relationships. And this is important. Here's an example. I have an example there of just how big Oog is. An example of the boys having a barbecue. The girls were there as well. They were actually doing the work. They were also working together beyond their own ideas to help other people. Here is an example coming up right now on your screens of a day that they dedicated in collecting food for people. As you can see, somebody managed to donate an Argentinian rather than pasta. It was different, but this is a different MBA27. Now, as we go forward in terms of this journey, there will be people who block you, people who make your dream difficult. But there will be other people who help you to get from one side to the other side. And so it's important, I think, to spend a few words explaining some characters who really helped us make that change from where you were in the ordinary world to how you are today. Let's begin with one very important gentleman. You see, some of the problems that we had was everything was done in a very strange working language, international English, and not everyone is at the same level of international English. No problem. Help was at hand, ladies and gentlemen, because in the class there was this individual here who helped the class massively by starting the Gianluca Palaro School of English. Now, he, as a polyglot, did not limit himself to English, but also offered a range of other international languages, such as Italian, Dutch, German, Swahili, Navajo, and most of the Inuit languages, all rigorously duty-free. Sorry, gluten-free. Here's another strange and weird character who was part of the group that made them what they were. I have to give you a bit of background here. All the Canadians I've ever known in the world spent most of their time proving to the world when they were abroad that they were not Americans by putting little Canadian flags on the back of their backpacks, which really annoyed any Americans who happened to be around. I'm happy to say that we have an anomaly in our MBA27. We have a Canadian who does everything to prove to the world that he's not a Canadian, but apparently an American, which I find very, very strange. The beaches of Europe this summer were amazed and stunned to find a gentleman walking around with, well, with a Donald Trump beach towel. So just to show you that we have different characters that help to give the flavor to this group. Something special, something special. Now, it's a long journey, it's a marathon. And what's important is that the group needs to understand that there are moments for energy, and the group did. Energy could be coffee. Energy more often was food, either junk food or just thinking about food, really. What I felt was very strange, looking at all the photos that I received from the class, was that most energy for MBA27 seemed to be the same sort. There seemed to be a need for a potassium surge. For example, this. And how about this? Of course, Peter got it wrong, and no one actually told him that an apple was a banana, but never mind. We appreciate the idea behind that, Peter. Now, energy is important, putting energy in, but also conserving energy, ladies and gentlemen. And there were some perfect examples of energy conservation, sorry for my English, in this MBA27. Here's an example of somebody trying to sleep despite the Arctic conditions. Here's an example of somebody sleeping during travel. Here's an example of somebody sleeping despite his colleagues doing everything to stop him from sleeping. And finally, my favorite one. Actually, let's go into a little bit more detail for the final one. Here's Jason, because Jason does something special. Jason is a man who manages to use energy conservation even when he's going forward. So I'd like to show a short case study, ladies and gentlemen, of how it's possible to make progress even when you are in standby mode. This comes from, I believe, Spain. So this is stage 1. This is stage 2. And this is stage 3. You see, ladies and gentlemen, you can make progress even if you're on standby. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. You can also conserve energy in class, Mario, can't you? And not only Mario. How about this from Nico? Now, all of these things were put together in order for our heroes to get to the other side. And that's right where they are as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. We go on to the penultimate of the main chapters here of the hero's journey, and that's reward. And maybe most people, oh no, I'll tell you what, let me add an extra. How about this, talking about conservation? Here we have Federico. And the question is, which MIB subject is Federico dreaming of? Okay, so this is a quiz for MBA27. You ready? Finance. How many people think, put your hand up if you think that Federico is dreaming of finance? Nobody. Okay, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. No, absolutely not. How about marketing? You put your hand up if you think Federico's thinking of marketing. No, you're right there as well. How about accountancy? I see no hands going up. You're absolutely right. Final one. How about Andrea Trecconi's strategy? No. Okay, I'll give you the answer. He's thinking about international relations. Well done, Fed. Congratulations. Okay, now let's put this all together. Because today we're into what's called the reward. And maybe most people would think that the reward for this long journey, this long story, is a piece of paper. But it's not. Because the piece of paper just symbolizes, and it's very important, and you get the photos and so on. But I would like to suggest, ladies and gentlemen, that the most important part of the reward, well, are two parts. And the first part is you. You see, after an MBA and the journey that you've done, it's self-belief. It's the idea that you can do things that you didn't think you could do before. A self-belief in your abilities. But let's go beyond that, because the reward doesn't stop just with you. I firmly believe that through this idea here, you will be able to make things better for others as well. In other words, you'll be able to help others back in the workplace go that further step, getting the best from other people. Now, at this point, you can say, well, that's it. Well, that's not exactly it, you see, ladies and gentlemen, because the story finishes here. But that's not the end of the narrative. Because it's up to you now, ladies and gentlemen, to go back to the ordinary world, the real world, but it will have changed. And it's up to you to start writing the next chapter. And this is very important. Now, this means that you're going to have to start again. This means that you're going to have to start to put all of your ideas, your feelings, your relationships back in the suitcase and start again. But you've got more resources now. You've got many more resources. And I'd like to finish off with this penultimate slide here, which is a slide from Leandro Herrero. And you know, guys, I like viral change so much. Stories are self-contained, beginning and end. That's it. Narratives are open-ended. They may contain stories, but the narrative is constantly in creation. Narratives are journeys. Stories are locations. And I'd like to hope, ladies and gentlemen, that in this strange world, this special world, this magical world of MIB, we were able to help you live the story. But this story is part of your narrative, and every single one of the heroes there, ladies and gentlemen, is writing their own narrative. And now it's up to them to write the next part. In other words, what we have done at the school, that's all we can do. The story finishes here. But that's not the end of the narrative. I would like to thank MBA27 for allowing us to be a small chapter in your narrative. And thank you so much for everything you've done. And to be honest, we're looking forward to continuing to be extra parts in your amazing narrative. Thank you and good luck, guys. Bye-bye.
Dear participants, during this year, we have mentioned many times the importance of being part of our community. Let's welcome a former MBA participant and now Vice President of the MIB Alumni Association, Dorina Stansculescu.
Hello, everybody. It's very difficult for me to speak now after Tim, right? It was so nice, so whatever I say, it will just fade away a little bit, but let me try. So, dear professors, staff members, dear MBA27, I am very pleased to be here with you today. I'm a bit nervous, as you can feel from my voice as well, because this is a very important moment for you, your MBA graduation. This is a huge achievement. And when I say huge, I know exactly what it means, because I have been seated where you are seated 6 years ago, together with my colleagues from the MBA21 edition. So, MBA27, you finally did it, okay? You survived a long year of, I'm sure, a lot of new experiences, new friends, new cultures, a lot, but I'm sure that you did not only survive. In this year, I think you put together a lot of what I would call your MBA luggage. I'm sure you're going to carry with you this MBA luggage, and you are not going to forget it. I want to ask you a little bit about your feelings now. If you can help me, how do you feel? Except happy, of course. I want to hear some adjectives describing your feelings now. Excited, okay. Proud, yeah, I was thinking about being proud because you made it, okay. Nostalgia, okay, I wanted to get to that. A bit sad and nostalgic. What else? Anxious about what? About the future. Yes, that's correct. What? Tired. Okay, I was expecting that too. So you believe it now because the diplomas are coming, so you believe you did it. Okay, so this was the point. When you say, your colleague said, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, your colleague said that you feel nostalgic because maybe something is coming to an end today. But what's coming to an end, as Tim Baxter said, it's your program in the class, okay? Your complete program in the class, but your relationship with the MIB community and with the school is not coming to an end. In fact, today, you start a new relationship as part of the MIB Alumni Association. I hope you are familiar with the MIB Alumni Association, some of you for sure, because I met you at our networking aperitivi. So I will try to briefly illustrate you what we do and how being present in the association can benefit you in the future. So who is familiar with the association? Everybody, right? Okay. So in my opinion, of course, you can benefit from the MIB Alumni Association because what we do here is we work with a vision, and the vision of the Alumni Association is to strengthen the value of the MIB brand, and by strengthening the value of the MIB brand, we practically enhance the value of the diploma we are all holding, okay? And how do we do this? I structured very briefly our activities on 3 main pillars. And these pillars are, first of all, we connect people, not like Nokia connecting people, okay? MIB Alumni Association connecting alumni. Okay, so practically we connect more than 2,600 alumni from more than 80 countries. So this is a huge potential. So you do not only keep in touch, but you also get the chance to talk to people, to share experiences. And when you share experiences, practically new ideas come up. We do have cases of alumni that have gone into business together. So during the years, this has led to, let's say, a structured community from which you can benefit professionally. Okay. Secondly, you can benefit from our lifelong learning initiatives, because you know the world is changing continuously, so your learning experience is not done here. So the Alumni Association, together with the school, organizes conferences, events, seminars on, let's say, managerial issues and many other different topics, okay? Also, the alumni, we are happy to say, maybe you met alumni in class, because the alumni can come to see company presentations and visits, take part in training days and tutorial, whatever we do, okay? And last but not least, we also do leisure, okay, social and networking events. And I'm sure you're familiar with MIB on the Snow, Barcolana, our monthly networking cafes, and we have other things, the alumni reunion, which is done every year, and we are waiting for your proposals, new ideas for the association. Of course, we are present on the social media. I think many of you are already following us, yes, on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. If you don't, please do follow us and share contents with us. I want to end by recalling that 2017, I hope you are aware, this is a year of elections. I don't know if you like politics, but with the MIB Alumni Association, it's not about politics, okay? So the mandate of the current governing council comes to an end in November. So we already launched a call for candidates. So you can, I want to invite you to consider the possibility of applying, even if you're not based in Italy, because practically the council, the meetings of the council are done via Skype or Google Hangout. So what we need is ideas, fresh ideas on initiatives to do, or also on how to bring people closer together in the association. So I warmly invite you to contact us if you have questions or if you want to know us better. We are available also here at school or on social media. Having said that, I want to congratulate you once again on this huge achievement and to wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dorina. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest, Mr. Alberto Minali, CEO of Cattolica Assicurazione.
Dear Dean, dear faculty, especially dear students, it's a great honor to be in front of you today to deliver a commencement speech to the MBA27 class. And first of all, I would like to congratulate with each of you for this accomplishment. I'm the last one in the row to congratulate with you, but I really would like to do it from my heart. I think this is not the end process of your journey, as Tim pointed out in a journey that he illustrated. It's just the starting point of something that you're going to write in your personal narrative. It's very difficult to deliver for me a commencement speech in front of you today, for the first reason that commencement speech requires the ability of condensing concepts that maybe might require and deserve a longer debate. So I will try to do it with a slight intonation and to provide you with a slightly different view from the common sense that sometimes we find in our industry. And I hope this will be something you could use for writing your own narrative. It's fair to say that we live in very turbulent times, and many industries are at the edge of a very important transformation. And it's also fair to say that you will be called to tackle situations that you have not yet experienced. So when I heard anxious about the future, means also anxiety about the experiences that you need to tackle in the future. Historically, in the industry, if you look around the economic system, capital allocation on one side and cost synergy programs have been the two main drivers. But they also shown the limits, and in some cases they also reach a sort of a diminishing return point. Investors can look at capital allocation, cost synergy programs, and efficiency programs driven by technology, giving you interesting valuation multiples. But I think that the end game of this initiative could leave you and your company, your firms, with fewer options and, I would say, narrow perspective. So in my mind, moving forward, what a manager should do in order to create sustainable growth for the company you are going to lead in the future, or maybe after this graduation ceremony, it's focusing and thinking even more about human capital and human capital allocation. That's, I think, your duty. The quality of your human capital thinking will dictate the quality of the prosperity of the company you are going to manage. You need to ponder, I think, long and hard that the world is not made up by constant things, immutable processes, organizations that are fixed once and for all and forever. Things are really changing, and the only way to understand this changing environment where you're going to practice your profession is to consider that the surrounding world around you is made up by many events, none of which, honestly, is under your full control. You are, in a way, driven by the change more than driving the change. The evolution of the scientific thought tells us that the word change is the best word that you have to think about to understand the world where you live in. The lexicon of the scientific thought means changing. You live always in this transformation process. And it's important to stress this thing because things might remain the same on the surface, but the underlying events are different. And you need to be able to understand the signs of the time, so to understand how things are changing, which are the events behind the world. Anaximandro, a Greek philosopher, a pre-Socratic Greek philosopher of the 6th century, said something that I would like to read. Things transform themselves because of need, and they become meaningful to each other because of time. So this transformation process should be the core of your management thinking. The narrative you're going to write, your own personal narrative, is a changing chapter every single day. You should put yourself in this perspective. So which are the tools you should have? Which is the perspective you should have? Which are the, I would say, gifts you should have in order to change and in order to drive this change? To answer this question, let me go back to some philosophical study, a concept that was developed by a Jewish philosopher called Isaiah Berlin in 1958. He gave a peculiar interpretation about freedom. You might ask now why I'm talking about freedom in front of you, and I'm coming from the insurance sector, one of the most annoying sectors probably in the world, and I'm talking about freedom. I'm trying to explain why. On one end, you can think of freedom as the absence of obstacles. And this is a concept that Isaiah Berlin called as negative freedom. This concept says that you are free to act if you have no obstacles in acting. If you act or if you don't act in your own organization for your own personal life, doesn't matter. You are free to act. It's a sort of a negative freedom. This negative freedom doesn't push you towards action, but is contemplating the fact that you don't have any obstacles around you to act. On the other hand, there is the positive freedom, means that you are in a position to write your own narrative, to dictate your own destiny, to shape your own future. And by shaping your own future, you also have the ability to shape the future of the company or the business where you're working. So Isaiah Berlin called these two freedom concepts, negative freedom on one side, the absence of something, and positive freedom, the presence of something. It's useful to think about this differently because my interpretation of this Isaiah Berlin concept is that we should abandon a sort of a scientific management, which is the removal of any obstacles, but we should embark upon a humanistic management, which is the ability of creating conditions in the company in order to foster cooperation and lead people to develop themselves. What the school has done, if I understand correctly your cursus honorum, is exactly the removal of obstacles, negative freedom, but especially giving you more resources, more ability, more capabilities to tackle the world and to start this journey. So, from scientific management to humanistic management, if you consider the evolution of management, you certainly are much more equipped than I am to discuss this. You see that in the past we had a Taylor's approach and Ford approaches to the typical automotive industry. What was the role of the people there? Managers were dictating the productivity shift. Workers had to obey the orders. The objective of the manager was to remove the obstacles for increasing productivity, and as an exchange, the workers were receiving the salary. Again, negative freedom concept applicable to this scientific management idea. But this engineering approach to management has shown many limits for one simple reason, that the world has become much more complex. The organizations have become much more complex, and also our jobs, my job as well, has become much more complex than the job I had 25 years ago or the job that another chief executive officer had 25 years ago. And this complexity of the work means that you should consider human capital not only a production factor in the utility function of the corporation, but really the asset that you need to lead and manage to create value and wealth for the society. We have many examples, also in some companies very close here, when cost-cutting synergies programs are reducing over time the knowledge capital of the company, and this might be a disaster going forward. So my point here is that you should make an effort to move towards humanistic management. Don't believe that I'm so naive that I disregard completely the scientific management. Scientific management remains the core of our process, of our procedures, our planning, our budgeting, but it's not enough. It's not enough because the complexity of our jobs require multiple capabilities, and these multiple capabilities are in every single person that you have the fortune to manage for the benefit of the company. So managers this day, this is my point here today with you before you start your own narrative, should focus much more on human capital than scientific capital. And they should be able to leverage and foster cooperation among individuals. What you have achieved as a group is much more than what you have achieved individually if you sum up all your personal achievements. I think that this change from negative to positive freedom, from competition to cooperation, from scientific management to humanistic management, requires the utilization of human capital in a different way and requires also different type of managers. Again, the model managers, in my mind, is not the one removing the obstacles, is the one fostering cooperation, is the one creating the conditions so that the human capital of the corporation can exploit its potential. And there is a huge potential in any company I've seen, and also I think you have the same experience to see what is your own potential that the school has really brought to a very high level. We need another cooperation paradigm. I remember a sentence that one of my old bosses told me, what a person can be, he must be. It's a devastating, revolutionary statement. And I hope that you're going to write your own narrative, thinking that what you can be, you must be, giving also the other colleagues of the company where you're going to work the same opportunity and the same chance. Again, what a person can be, he must be. So we need to work for this self-realization of the human attitudes. And that's why you have embarked upon the master. And that's why the school has welcomed you. That's why the school has worked together with you to exploit your potential. It would be foolish to think that we can completely abandon the scientific management approach. But in my mind, if you want to progress to create wealth for your own company, you need to keep it and evolve towards a more humanistic management. And that's why I think the company, the firm for which you are going to work, it's not a commodity, it's a community. That's another important concept that you should, in my mind, keep always with yourself. It's a community because there is something that individuals share. You share now belonging to this fantastic group. You share the master achievement. In the future, you will be part of companies and firms, and you will be part of communities. And the firm is not a commodity you can trade on Bloomberg. Company is something more than a commodity you can trade. And one can think as a community, as a business enterprise, or vice versa, a business enterprise as a community, because there are some common elements that people share together. Salaries, perks, in some cases also private jets, or maybe job satisfaction, the pleasure, the reputation. In reality, if you think about one moment at your own experience, a business enterprise is a community because there is an intimate link between people working for a company. And these people should share the mission of the company and the objectives of the company. So working is fundamentally important for everybody, for every single individual. And this in turn, I think, will determine your identity as a manager. I always say, I always repeat to my colleagues in Cattolica that I feel this responsibility as a chief executive officer of a company, not only because I lead 1,600 people and maybe I can dictate the benefit, the welfare of the families, but I feel this responsibility because when the board appointed me last June, they gave me a responsibility on the financial resources of the organization and on the human capital of the organization. And my duty is to use these resources at best and to leave a company which is better than the one that I've inherited, a company which is more profitable, more wealthy, more efficient, but I would say also more human, not only more compassionate, but more human, more cooperative, where my people can have chances to develop and grow. I don't see any contradiction at all, even if I got an experience as a group CFO of another company. I don't see any contradiction between being efficient and profitable, which is our polar star, and being cooperative and human. Unfortunately, we have inserted in our discussion as a manager this dilemma, where it seems that if you want to be profitable as a company, you need to be not human, not cooperative. But I don't think this company will have a longer longevity going forward if they don't have an ethical pathos and morality in what they do. So, in my mind, and that's my last comment to you before we go to the celebration of yourself and what you have achieved, which is fantastic. In my mind, responsibility is the name of the game. Responsibility is like a diamond with three facets. A diamond, to have value, should be bright, should be lightning, should be clean. You need to be clean and bright. On one facet, you see the individual responsibility that you as a person have. Even if you don't write your own narrative, you have it. It's unavoidable. You need to be competent, you need to be good, you need to have the courage of taking decisions, you need to be ethical. That's your individual responsibility. There is also a group responsibility that you share as a group now and as a group in the future when you're going to go back to your company or when you set up your own enterprise. Group responsibility means not working in silos, working together, not being competitive by killing the others, being cooperative, working together with an aim, creating value for the group and for the company. Always having the interest of your organization at the forefront, but deciding the ethical tools to pursue these goals. And then there is also a social responsibility for the company, because the company are not on planet Mercurio, they are here. And they contribute to the development and to the improvement of the society where the company lives and operates. I dare say that without this individual responsibility, group responsibility and social responsibility do not exist. Everything starts from the individual of yourself, of each of you. You shouldn't commit less than this. And if there is individual responsibility, then there might be a group responsibility between you and your peers and in the company where you're going to work and for the society at large. This is honestly my opinion about the manager after 25 years in the insurance industry. So you need to be people that not uncritically adopt a value-free, neutral approach to life. You need to commit yourself. You need to decide which is right, what is wrong. You need to choose for the right one. And you need to be leaders, and you are leaders. You need to be leaders capable of going beyond to take decisions that transform companies from dull places of work in living places. And that's why we get satisfied in terms of job and we get also remunerated. If you achieve that, if you embark upon this journey, you write your own narrative with a strong sense of responsibility, which is individual, which is group, which is social, I think you have all the tools, all the abilities to create value for your company, to create wealth for the society where you're going to live. I trust you will do it, and I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Dear MBA27, now it is time to officially celebrate all your efforts. I invite Professor Nanut and Professor Traconia to join me in presenting your diplomas. On behalf of the Faculty Committee, the school is pleased to confer the MBA in International Business degree to the following. From Argentina, Stefania Borghetti. From Italy, Massimiliano Candolfi. From Canada, Dante Di Giulio. From Colombia, David Dominguez Zucardi. From Uruguay, Ginny Stephanie Ferraz Betancor. From Argentina, Jeremías Simón Herzog. From Argentina, Federico Izaguirre Prenses Valle. Okay, Hugh is not here today, but he is following us on the streaming from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Hugh Mansilla. From Italy, Gianluca Palaro. From Italy, Giorgio Pignalosa. From Argentina, Lucia Silvia Ponzio. From Italy, Mario Slavic. From Argentina, Mariana Videla Escalada. The school is pleased to confer the MBA in International Business degree with honors to the following. From Italy, Marco Brunazzo. From Chile, Paolo Rodrigo Chierego Flores. From Argentina, María Luisa Landi. From Malaysia, Jason Lei Yun Yi. From Chile, Nicolás Javier Otarola Pezzani. From Italy, Francesco Peresi. From Croatia, Ivan Roje. Congratulations to you all. And now it is your turn. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of MBA27, please welcome Mariana Videla.
Okay. So it's really hard to believe that a year has passed since we were in the same room. One of the first times we were all together, watching former MBA students receiving their diplomas. Honestly, I didn't think I would be here 1 year later, but especially not speaking in public. We were supposed to expect the unexpected, so here I am. Since some of our families are here, I would like to start by thanking, in representation of my classmates, MBA27, some of the people who were around us for these 12 months. Professor Traconia, thank you for bringing together in this program all of the knowledge and tools we need to become better professionals. Our most dear Vicky Bless, thank you for your infinite patience and support, and for looking after us from the beginning until the very last minute, making sure that all of us were all right in every moment. Thank you to our greatest teachers, they are there. Professor Benier, Professor Ampo, Professor Peresin, Professor Modunio, and every other teacher we had during the year. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, but especially thank you for your patience. We know we were a special group. Thanks to the career service team, Fabia and Barbara, who provided us with a lot of opportunities to develop our professional careers. To our friends from MIRM, it has been great to share the classes and the lunch breaks with you, and we were thanked to see you arriving to MIB when we needed to see some new faces. Dear Professor Piloto, thank you for the uncountable number of soccer matches, dances, opera and ballet evenings, pizza, beer and limoncello dinners. That helped us get from an exam to another with a smile in our faces. I personally thank you for being with us during the fun times and for your support during the times that were not so fun. Thank you for having the generosity to share your knowledge inside and outside the classroom and for showing us just for the very first time. And our most special thanks is to our friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, kids, our families, sisters, brothers, nephews, nieces, fathers, mothers. Some of them are here. Thank you so much for your support and your patience during all these months. We know it hasn't been easy to be far from us for so long. Trust me, it was hard for all of us too. And last but not least, to the leaders of our days, Tim and Valeria. Thank you for working so hard from the day one until the very last one in building this team, which is the best asset we can bring back with us from this whole experience. Okay. We spent so many hours and classes learning and discussing about what it meant to be a good leader. During the years, some days I woke up in the morning, I drank the most delicious Italian coffee in my balcony looking at the sea. I just thought how lucky I was to be able to take a whole year for me, to learn here in one of the most beautiful cities I have ever been to. And it is incredible, Ferdinandeo Palace. Those were the days I arrived to the school smiling, laughing, sometimes even singing or shouting. I had fun while discussing and presenting group assignments, and I tried to motivate everyone to collaborate to arrive to the best possible results. However, most of the days, my classmates know that I arrived with a different face to the school. I wasn't smiling. In Argentina, we have an expression for that face too. Those days, it was freezing cold outside. I missed my family and the food from my country. I went outside, I waited for the bus for hours, and the mystical Bora was hurting my face. Those days, I wasn't feeling motivated. I wasn't feeling much like a leader. In those days, I knew I didn't have to worry. I knew my classmates were going to be there when I arrived to the school. Some other of you would volunteer to present our assignments. Some other would encourage me to participate with the work. Others would try to cheer me up with a coffee, a joke, or a conversation. And then there were the girls. They would invite me to sleep over and help me study until the very last moment before the exam. And they would always have a matter ready to share with me. So, as a conclusion, maybe I'm not a great leader. Maybe not just yet. But what I'm sure about is that this year I had the best team by my side. I am absolutely sure I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for you. By sharing this year with you guys, I have learned so much from each one of you, from your personal experiences, from your opinions, from your summaries, for watching you put in so much effort to pass an exam, as well as to organize a barbecue, a road trip, or a fun night. I learned from the generosity you showed to me every time you shared a gift or a conversation. I have also learned from your advices, from your patience, your kindness, your support, and your company. I admire each one of you, and what makes me more proud about this day is to be receiving this diploma right next to you. In this mystical Ferdinandeo Palace, I got to know that some people had spent months analyzing and evaluating which school offered the best MBA program. Some, I learned, even had Excel sheets with all possible options and the average expected salaries after receiving an MBA. Me, I just saw something in Twitter, I made a click, and 20 days later I was here. I am sure there are a lot of great schools in Europe, and in other countries too, that could have provided a similar academic program. If I was graduating from a different school, I would probably be looking around and seeing a group of people, proud and happy to be receiving a diploma, probably similar to the one we received just yet. Today, I am happy I chose to come to MIB, because I am looking at you now, and I see something different. I see a team which succeeded after months of commitment and effort, to be all together where we wanted to be today. I look back at the day I applied, hoping I would get an MBA diploma. Instead, I learned countless lessons about myself. I managed to do some things I heard people saying were impossible to do. And I managed to do some things which even I thought I was not capable of doing. I got a new WhatsApp group chat which is active 24/7. I got my cell phone memory full of pictures and videos of beautiful places and fun moments which I don't ever want to forget. I learned to expect the unexpected and to do the best that I could with it. And I learned that there is an answer for every possible question. Of course, and it depends. But especially, I gained friends from almost every continent, and I created some bonds that I know that will last a lifetime. This is why my biggest thanks is to each one of you guys. You were the richest part of this experience, and you made it all worth it. So, I guess the real people I should be thanking today are you. Thank you to the brave little girl who took over China, to the factory tomboy, to the dreamy, sexy woman, to our class mother and hurricane, to our nono, to the sailor with the family, the dog, and the turtles, to our gluten-free president, to the class bully and exhibitionist, to Mr. Perfect, to the PhD doctor, to our gentleman from the north, to the Napolitano and to the Fruliano too. Thank you, enano. To the guy who can't stand still for 1 minute, and to the former origin student from Chile, y al papi del mal. I would like to thank some of us who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but they had been as much part of this experience as everyone else has. I hope that you're watching. Thank you to the mystery girl, the panda, and the big guy. You had shared with us so much about your culture and traditions, it's invaluable. And to you, Ivan, I thought you weren't big here. Our full-time love, support, and admiration to your strength. In half of the time, you managed to become one of us. So have you, Franchu. Thank you to all, congratulations, and I wish you nothing but success in every project that you start.
Thank you, Mariana. Dear graduates, today is your day. You have successfully completed your educational path at MIB, and you are now ready to face new challenges. As your program manager, I had the opportunity to follow you from the very first week, and I know that you have made the most of your MBA experience. Furthermore, I believe that this experience that you shared has deeply transformed you. Coming from different countries and backgrounds, you arrived at our school as complete strangers, to then become a unique group of people. Each colorful personality is now part of a single shining rainbow. Believe me, you were very lucky. This is an invaluable gift that you will never lose. I would like to thank you for your enthusiasm, your curiosity, and energy. It was a pleasure and honor to work with you. I'm very proud of you, and I will miss you. On behalf of myself and everybody at MIB, I wish you all the best in your professional careers and personal lives. Keep in touch and hope to see you in the near future. Thank you. Before concluding the ceremony, I'd like to welcome the participants of the MBA28, who will start next Monday, their own adventure. We have a tradition to respect. a tradition that started right at the beginning of the MBA graduation ceremonies, where le baton is passed from one MBA generation to the next one. In order to do so, I invite Jeremias on behalf of MBA27 and Giovanna on behalf of MBA28 to join me on the podium, as well as Professor Stefano Pilotto. Please, can you join us? Okay, you can sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony has reached the end. Please join us in the pavilion downstairs to have a final toast all together. But first, I invite the graduates to come here for the official photo. Thank you.
So che in certi momenti non è facile trattenere le lacrime.
No, dopo Mariana è stato difficile.
Lo so.
Veramente, mi ha fatto proprio emozionare.
Lo so. Allora hai scelto Giovanna, non Giovanna.
No, io ho scelto Giovanna.
Perché non c'è? E quello è Giovanna?
Vicino.
cerimonia? Mi è piaciuta? Bei discorsi. Bella però.
To kiss.
Prego, in centro, grazie. C'è il posto per voi centrale.